checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Should we get this show on the road, guys? This is Emergency Management Associates on the air. Let's do this. Let's do it right now. Emergency Management Associates is on the air, guys. Welcome to our show tonight. We're glad to have you here. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Yes, we're here. We're ready to go. We work in the mud, and we're getting on with the show. How about that? I'm rhyming. Go figure. I'm coming on the air a little bit late because I was trying to finish up the narrative for our broadcast today. Yes, I've got some things I need to tell you. Things that may change our lives coming in the very near future. I'm going to be talking about that as well. But tonight's main story are earthquakes. Let's go over the USGS map and look at the earthquakes on the map. I want to point out that these earthquakes are now. They're now. They've happened today. Not yesterday, the day before, they've happened today. I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam as we go about exploring these earthquakes today. Over here, Kamchatka Peninsula today. Again, this is not the only earthquake happening on the southeast side of the Kamchatka Peninsula. There have been others. USGS only shows us what they want us to see. Over here on the southeast side of the Kamchatka Peninsula, we have another moderate 4.8 earthquake. Moderate 4.8 earthquake. Now, moderate comes from 4.0 to 4.9. Moderate earthquakes are 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes. USGS is calling them light earthquakes. If a 4.0 to 4.9 is a light earthquake, what is a small 3.0, 3.9? What is it? I'm going to tell you this. Small 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes are very small. They're just barely felt. Just felt earthquakes. But when we get up to 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes, and this is a 4.8, on land they can cause moderate damage. On land they can cause moderate damage. I've told you what happened in Los Angeles back in 2014. LA had what they said was a 4.5 earthquake. It was not. It was not a 4.5 at all. It was at least a 5.0. I'm claiming now it was a 5.5 earthquake. They called it a 4.5 earthquake, moderate earthquake. It shattered windows throughout the greater Los Angeles area. It also broke water lines and oil and gas feeds all over the LA area. All over. Gas lines and water mains were cracked and were blowing. There were some fires. That does not happen when a light earthquake happens. It just doesn't happen. You don't break glass. You don't break water mains and gas mains in a small earthquake. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with a light earthquake either. These are moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes. They can cause moderate damage, such as knocking pictures off of walls, knocking books and knickknacks off of shelves. They can also ruin your day. They can ruin your day. Say you have a cupboard that doesn't have child latches on it. Most of us, like me, don't have children around right now, where we want child latches on our cupboards. However, during an earthquake, moderate earthquakes can rattle dishes and cups and saucers and glasses around your cupboards. If a picture can be knocked off the wall during a moderate earthquake, imagine what those plates, those glasses, and other things in your cupboards do when that happens. They shake. If they shake enough, they can fall out of the cupboards and crash onto the floor. Then you have some what I call major damage. Unreal. That's what moderate earthquakes do. That's what moderate earthquakes did that day in 2014 Los Angeles. Okay, let's drop down here. Okay, over here on the northwest side of Luzon Island in the Philippines. Luzon Island is the northernmost island in the Philippines. This again is a 4.8 earthquake here on land. Okay, this is just southeast of the city here. Bacara, Bocas Norte, and Luang City, and other cities here as well. Guess what? Moderate earthquakes do moderate damage. These people that live in these cities and towns felt this earthquake. They felt this earthquake depending on how close they were to the earthquake and the terrain that the earthquake was in. Okay? They felt this earthquake. There was some damage in the Philippines today from this earthquake on Luzon Island. Okay? But again, this is not the only earthquake that's here. They are not reporting the other earthquakes over here on the northeast side of Mindanao, Philippines, which is the largest island in the southern part of the Philippines. They're not talking about the other earthquakes here. Why not? Why not? They should be. They should be. Why are they only showing one earthquake here in Indonesia? Why are they only showing one earthquake here in Indonesia? There are 36 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. 36. Yet they're not showing anything but this one here. This is a 5.0 large quake. This is a 5.0 large quake. Not a 5.0 light quake. This is a 5.0 large earthquake. Okay? This is 83 miles south of Tambolaka Indonesia, south of East Java. There are other earthquakes as well as aftershocks from this quake. Notice where this is at. This is on the edge of the plate. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. 7 different tectonic plates in this region. One plate subducting or going under the other. I've explained that in previous episodes of this program. One tectonic plate going underneath another. That's why they have so many earthquakes here in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Okay? This is just one earthquake. One earthquake. Other earthquakes around here in southeastern Australia and southwestern Australia. There are other earthquakes here in Tonga, over here in the Kermadec Islands, over here also here in New Zealand. But again, they're not showing anything here. They're showing one earthquake here in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea. This is another 4.6 earthquake here. 4.6 moderate earthquake here. This is on land. The people here in Papua New Guinea don't make a lot of money. Their annual income is probably $300 to $600 a year. They live in squalor. Their homes are basically either mud shacks or wood and cardboard shacks, and over the top of it, they have a tarpaulin to protect them from rain, wind, or other storms. What happens when we have an earthquake? It knocks down these cardboard shacks, knocks down the mud shacks. If they have shelves in their home, it knocks things off of the shelves. It can completely ruin their day here in Papua New Guinea. Very sad. A 4.6 moderate earthquake hit here in Papua New Guinea today. Okay? Also, look where it's at. Look where it's at. Right next to another tectonic plate. Literally right next to a tectonic plate on top of it. Unreal. Unreal. But that's not the half of the story today. Let's go over here to southern Mexico. Notice also USGS is not showing any earthquakes here in South America. 42 earthquakes here in South America today. They're not showing any. Over here in southern Mexico, off the coast here. Look where this earthquake is at. It's on the earthquake fault. On the earthquake fault, guys. This is a very large 5.5 earthquake. This is a very large 5.5 earthquake. But again, the United States Geological Survey isn't showing exactly what's going on here. They never do. Rarely do they ever show any earthquakes here in southern Mexico at all. They almost have to show this, but I need to tell you, they have not always shown all the earthquakes here in Mexico, including large earthquakes. This is a very large 5.5, mid-range 5. Mid-range 5 earthquake. This is a biggie. This is a biggie, guys. Okay? I'm going to take you over to southern Mexico right now. Okay? I'm going to take you over to southern Mexico right now. I'm going to turn on our webcam for a minute. Look where that 5.5 earthquake was, right there. "38 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 38 earthquakes here in southern Mexico today. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Actually, I believe it's 48. I'm sorry. I said 38. It's 48 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 48 earthquakes here. USGS only shows us the 5.5 large quake. Sad. Sad. Rarely, if ever, do they ever show us exactly what's going on here or anywhere around the world. That's a fact. That's a fact. Going over here in Southern California today, offshore from San Diego County, offshore from Oceanside, and I'm going to say Encinitas, California today. This is a minor 2.4 earthquake here in the Channel Islands area. 21 miles east-northeast of San Clemente, California. San Clemente Island, California. Okay? Again, they're hardly showing any earthquakes here in Southern California, hardly ever. There are over 400 earthquakes here in Los Angeles itself. In the greater LA area, there are over 400 earthquakes a day here. Look what they're not showing us here. Sad. I want to show you this red earthquake here. Okay? I just turned it blue. This is 2 miles north of Colton, California. It's on the outskirts of Colton, California here. This is the 1.2 tremor here. Let's go over to where it says Los Angeles, over the ENS of Los Angeles. This is the 1.5 tremor here near Azusa, California. Interesting. What are they showing us? Nothing. All they are showing us are tremors. Just tremors. This earthquake here. This earthquake is on the outskirts of greater Los Angeles City. This is a microquake, a 0.8 microquake here in the city of LA. Incredible. Incredible. Right here. Colton or Corona, California. This is the 1.5 tremor here, south of Corona, California. Down here in San Diego County itself, right down here we have a red earthquake. That red means it just happened. This is 2 miles west of Julian, California. 2 miles west of Julian, northwest of Julian, California. A 1.5 tremor here. South of Julian down here, right there. This is a microquake, a 0.5 microquake. About 4 miles southeast of Julian. Interesting. How about this earthquake north of Julian? This is over by Lake Henshaw. Lake Henshaw is northeast from Escondido, where I used to live. I used to fish in Lake Henshaw. This is 2 miles southeast of Lake Henshaw, allegedly. Allegedly. It's not 2 miles away from anything. It's at Lake Henshaw itself. This earthquake is at Lake Henshaw itself, a 0.7 microquake here. But again, they are not showing you all the earthquakes here either. They never do. They never ever do. Now, I want to go over to the New Madrid Fault. Let's go over and take a look at the New Madrid Fault today. Look at this. USGS has actually shown us 2 earthquakes here in the New Madrid region here. This earthquake here, it's over here on the eastern side of the Mississippi River or the New Madrid Fault, Ridgely, Tennessee. This is a 2.3 minor earthquake. 2.3 minor earthquake here. Okay, they say it's 2 miles southwest of Ridgely, Tennessee. Really? Let's take a look at it. Ridgely, Tennessee, the greater Ridgely, Tennessee area. It's just barely on the outskirts of Ridgely, Tennessee here. 2.2 minor earthquake here. Look where the New Madrid Fault is. Look where that New Madrid Fault is. Literally, this earthquake is on the eastern side of the New Madrid Fault. Let's go south to show that other earthquake here. Right here. This earthquake is in Louisiana. This is a 2.7 minor earthquake here, near Coushatta, Louisiana. Coushatta, Louisiana. They said there was a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands, north of New Zealand, just 5 minutes ago. This earthquake is over here in Louisiana, guys. Not that far from the New Madrid Fault. 2.7 minor earthquake. 1 mile northwest of Coushatta, Louisiana. Interesting. Look where it's at. Right there. Right on the outskirts of Coushatta, Louisiana. Near the New Madrid Fault. Unreal. There are earthquakes all over the New Madrid Fault. These are not the only earthquakes here. I want to emphasize, these are not the only earthquakes here on the New Madrid Fault today. I'm going to show you the data sheets. I'm going to show you the seismograms from this area. I want to show you what has actually happened here. Not just 1 or 2 minor earthquakes. There have been a lot more than that. They never tell us exactly what is truthfully going on. Never. I've been in this business a long time. I got my degree years ago. I keep following up on the data. Most people would say after 20, 30 years, their degree doesn't mean squat. Basically true. Unless you follow up with your training. I have done that. I've done that. Let's go over and take a look at the data sheets, or what we call the seismograms, the computer readouts from the seismograph computer. Let's take a look at it. It's going to be very telling what happens here. Okay, let's take down the USGS map here. Let's go over here to the New Madrid Fault area, right here. Guys, guess what this is? Guess where it's at? Marktree, Arkansas. This kind of earthquakes that we had or see here today in Marktree, Arkansas, happen many times a day, every day. Every day without fail. Without fail. These are not just minor earthquakes. These are 3.0 to 3.5, maybe larger earthquakes than that. Let me enlarge this diagram so you can see what I'm talking about. Up at the top here, okay? Up at the top here. Look at the top. This morning, that earthquake there is after 5 a.m. this morning. 5:45 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side. We come over 5 minutes. Now we are at 5:50 a.m. this morning. Tremors, lots and lots of tremors. Within 2 minutes later, we have our first minor 2.0 earthquake. They get larger after that, upwards of a 2.7, 2.8. Then within a minute, we're at a 3.0 earthquake here. But look at the top and the bottom of this earthquake sequence. The agencies cut the top and the bottom of the sequence off, which means these earthquakes are actually larger than what they're being shown to be. This is a 3.5 small earthquake. 3.5 small earthquakes can be felt. Small earthquakes can actually move your furniture along the floor. They can rattle your beam. They can make your pets go crazy. Pets don't understand the floor shaking, the ground shaking, nor many of us adults either. Children either. Mommy, what's happening? I'm scared. Oh, we're having a small earthquake. What happens on the next earthquake that I'm showing you here on the left-hand side? 6 a.m. this morning. What do we have? What do we have? This earthquake actually started earlier than 6:45. This earthquake started at approximately 6:26 this morning. Started at 6:26 this morning on the blue line on the right-hand side. Started again with tremors. By 6:29, we had a 2.3, 2.4 tremor already built up. By 6:45, we had 2.2 earthquake happening, minor earthquake. Within about 30 seconds, all of a sudden we had a larger earthquake. Minimum of 3.5 earthquake here. A minimum of a 3.5 earthquake here. Again, the top and the bottom of this sequence has been cut off. This was a much larger earthquake. This earthquake sequence lasted 7 minutes. 7 minutes from the beginning of the tremors to the end of it. Out to the right of this, the primary waves of this earthquake. Out to the right. We have about 45 seconds of secondary quake. 45 seconds of secondary shaking. What this means, this earthquake was at least a 3.5 earthquake. This earthquake was at least a 3.5 earthquake, possibly larger. On the New Mountain Fault in Marktree, Arkansas. The next earthquake is on that red line there. Starts off with tremors, and then it becomes a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Then it goes down again, out to the right. You see the other earthquake sequences here? It gets wild here. 2 more 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes out here to the right on the blue lines here. This happens every day, multiple times a day. Sometimes there's more large earthquakes here. Sometimes we have more 3.0, 4.0 earthquakes here. That happens. But these kinds of earthquakes happen every day here in Marquette, Arkansas. Crazy. Happens every day. Every day we show this, it happens. Happens every day. Not just here in Marquette, Arkansas. This is Marquette, Arkansas this afternoon. This afternoon, we get no more than long duration tremor activity here. Long duration tremor activity. Sometimes on some afternoons, large earthquakes continue. 3.0, 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes here in Marquette, Arkansas all day long. They may be continuing right now as we speak. This happens all up and down the entire New Madrid Fault region. Let's go south here. Let's look south at Truman, Arkansas here. Look at this, guys. It used to be said that Truman, Arkansas had fewer earthquakes and less magnitude earthquakes than Marquette, but it's beginning to happen here as well. Look at these earthquakes here. Up at the top on the black line is 5 a.m. in the morning. Long duration tremor activity. No more than 1.2, 1.3 tremor. On the next blue line, 5:30 in the morning. We have another long duration tremor building up to minor earthquake status. Minor earthquake status means 2.0 to 2.4 earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.4 earthquakes here. Then it reduces itself back down to tremor activity. Long duration tremor activity building up to minor earthquakes. Over here on the right hand side on the red line. Okay? This would be 6:15 on the left hand side. On the right, we have 6:26 a.m. in the morning on the red line. Tremor activity. Nothing but tremor activity, maybe a 2.0 earthquake at some point in time, right before 6:30. But what happens at 6:30? Over on the left-hand side. 6:30 this morning, we have minor 2.0, 2.2 activity. Then it builds up. 2.9, 3.0 activity. It gets larger. On these longer lines here, this is a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. But again, the top and the bottom of this sequence have been cut off, which means these were large earthquakes. 3.5 may be larger. The rest of these earthquakes, yes, we have long duration tremor activity. Over on the right hand side, in the red line, tremor activity building up to 2.3, 2.4 activity, and as well up to 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes here. Possibly as large at one point as 3.0. 3.0 small earthquake here. All the rest of this activity at Truman, Arkansas are long duration tremors here. This happens every day. Sometimes we get multiple 3.0 earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas. Okay? Let's go further south to Tyrone, Arkansas. Tyrone, Arkansas. Here at Tyrone, Arkansas, let's look carefully at what this seismogram is telling us. Look at all the blank areas here. The blank areas dictate no activity. That means the seismologist turned off the seismograph. Turned off the seismograph. No activity at all until until just after 9:30 this morning. 9:30 this morning on the blue line here that you see. All we are seeing are tremor activity, very tiny tremor activity. That might be because the seismologist had turned down the seismograph itself. They turned down the seismograph itself to not show activity. What happens at 6:40 or 9:45 on the green line? 9:45 on the green line, suddenly at 9:47, 2.8 earthquake here. 2.8 earthquake. Interesting. What about 9:50? 9:50 this morning. Now we have a 3.2 earthquake. 3.2 earthquake here in Tyrons, Arkansas. Southern Arkansas, right next to the New Madrid Fault. Look at these other earthquake activities here. Yes, we have tremors. We also have multiple 3.0 earthquakes here. Multiple 3.0 small earthquakes. Look at that. All happened here late this morning because the seismologist turned off the seismograph. Turned off the seismograph. Sad day. This is the first time I've ever seen a seismograph get turned off at Tyrons, Arkansas. The first time. Usually we see more activity, a lot more activity. Let's look at Tyrons, Arkansas this afternoon, right before I pull this seismograph. Look at this. Look at this. Just because the rest of this seismograph doesn't show anything, it's because I pulled this seismograph before it had a chance to continue. Okay? All you see on the top line on the left-hand side is 12 noon. 12 noon Central Time. After that, on the red line, 12:15 on the left-hand side. We come over here to the right, the center part of the seismograph on the right on the red line. That's a 3.0 earthquake there. The next one on the blue line here, blue line on the left-hand side is 1:30. 1:30. This is at this earthquake is at approximately 1:40 at 1:40 this afternoon. Another 3.0 earthquake. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes this afternoon. Again, this is what we usually see at Tyrons, Arkansas, literally all day long. Yet they don't show it on the USGS map. Why not? Why not? Because again, they don't want anybody to know what's happening here. Prior to 3 years ago, actually prior to 2 years ago, if I would have checked the seismograms and I would have checked the earthquake maps in here along the New Madrid Fault, all we would see would be 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, 1.9 tremors. That's all they showed. They did not show any earthquakes at all, just tremors. They didn't show 2.0 and 2.9 earthquakes. They didn't show 3.0 earthquakes because they weren't having them. That started to change 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we started having minor earthquakes, 2.0 to 2.9 earthquakes, and an occasional 3.0 earthquake. As you can see, we're starting to see more small and large earthquakes. By large earthquakes, I'm talking about moderate 4.0 and 4.5 earthquakes. Yes, we've seen 4.0 and 4.5 earthquakes here on the New Madrid Fault this year. The past 2 years, we have substantially increased the magnitude of the earthquakes here. What's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years? I fully expect to see the New Madrid Fault to open up to a major earthquake. A major earthquake here on the New Madrid Fault. I fully expect to see it. Now, the New Madrid Fault stretches from the American Gulf, the Gulf of America, all the way up into Illinois. All the way up into Illinois. Let me show you Decatur, Illinois. Last week we had 3.0 earthquakes happening here in Decatur, Illinois. That's not what's happened today. We have minimal 3.0 earthquakes here. Minimal 3.0 earthquakes. At the top line is midnight last night. Then we come down to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. this morning. Look at those earthquakes after 5 a.m. this morning. Incredible. All kinds of 3.0 earthquakes after 5 a.m. this morning. Unreal. We also had a couple minor 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes, and all kinds of tremors here. All kinds of tremors. Last week when we showed you Decatur, Illinois, we had earthquakes all day long. Earthquakes coming from midnight all the way to noon on this side. And on the evening side, I'm going to show you in just a minute, we had earthquakes top to bottom in the seismograph. Happened last week. Now all we are showing you are tremors and one line after 5 a.m. with 3.0 earthquakes here. 3.0 small earthquakes here in Decatur, Illinois. That could change. That could change. We might see more earthquakes here in Decatur, Illinois as we go forward. It could happen. It could happen. This is Decatur, Illinois this afternoon. Nothing but tremors here. Nothing but tremors. This is usually what we saw in Decatur, Illinois prior to last week. Nothing but tremors here. Again, this is on the New Madrid Fault. The northern part of the New Madrid Fault here. Okay. Let's go north to Missouri. I'm going south from Illinois into Missouri now. First, let's look at Barker Cemetery in Missouri. This is the center part of the New Madrid Fault in Missouri. The center part of the New Madrid Fault here in Missouri. Up at the top, midnight. We don't see much of anything but tiny tremors here. But what happens when we get into later this morning? On the right-hand side. Okay? At 7:15 this morning. Just before 7:15 this morning. We had minor tremor activity and then all of a sudden a 2.0 earthquake. After 7:15, on the left-hand side. 3.0 earthquake activity, multiple earthquakes. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes here. You see multiple lines here? These are multiple earthquakes, back to back. Then we come down here to 10 a.m. this morning. On the left-hand side, we just see nothing more than 1.0 tremors. Until we get over here to the center right. Center right. At 10:10 this morning, another 3.0 earthquake, multiple 3.0 earthquakes here again. And then tremors after that. On the left-hand side on the red line, 10:15. We come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. 10:20 this morning. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Okay? Barkus Cemetery. Let's talk about what has happened here at Barkus Cemetery. Prior to 2 years ago, all we had were tremors. Starting 2 years ago, the tremors became 2.0 earthquakes, 2.5 earthquakes, 2.6 earthquakes. Last year, they started turning into small 3.0 and large earthquakes at Barkus Cemetery here. Usually we saw a lot more minor earthquakes than this and more small earthquakes than this. Usually all day long. From the beginning of the morning, all morning long, and all afternoon as well. Let's look at Barkus Cemetery this afternoon. Look at this. Now again, I pulled this cytogram before 3 p.m. Central Time. Before 3 p.m. Central Time. So basically what we're only showing you is 2.5 hours of time period of earthquakes. In this case, up at the top on the red line. On the left-hand side, it will be 12:15. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes later. Tremor activity turning into 3.0 earthquakes immediately. Not minor earthquakes, but 3.0 earthquakes immediately. Then it drops down to minor earthquakes and tremors and turns right back around within 30 seconds of being another 3.0 earthquake again. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes right there. Then it turns into a secondary wave. A secondary wave means a reduction in seismic status. Okay, we turn into tremors here. Tremors. Tremors for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. That means these 3.0 earthquakes are 3.3 earthquakes. 3.3 earthquakes here. Then we drop down here to 12:30 on the left-hand side and over here on the right. We're at 12:29 p.m. this afternoon. Minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. 2.0 earthquake here. Okay. 1:15 this afternoon on the red line on the left-hand side. We come over here. This is 1:24 p.m. this afternoon. Again, we have multiple 3.0 earthquakes here. A little over a minute later, more 3.0 earthquakes here, multiple of them. 3 to 4 3.0 earthquakes back to back here. Then we have tremors, minor earthquake after that, and then just tiny tremors after that. Then we drop down here to 12:30 on the left-hand side. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes later. 1:38. 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes back to back here. 2:15 on the left-hand side on the red line. We come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. This is 2:20 this afternoon. 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. Barker Cemetery. This is typically what we've seen this year. Prior to that, last year, minor earthquakes, nothing more than minor earthquakes, no more than 2.9 earthquakes last year. Okay, let's continue this. Let's go over to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Again, on the New Madrid Fault. Tremor activity, all kinds of tremor activity all day long. I'm going to tell you this, I have not counted all the tremors here, but I'm going to make a wild guess. Probably 100 tremors here today. 100 tremors from midnight last night to 12 noon today. That's a lot of tremors. That is a lot of activity on the New Madrid Fault. That's typically what we would see here on the New Madrid Fault 3 years ago. Is USGS telling us about these earthquakes, these tremors at Cape Girardeau? Heavens no. Heavens no. They don't want us to know what's happening. Heaven forbid. This is Cape Girardeau this afternoon. More tremors here. Unreal. Again, this is the center part of the New Madrid Fault, guys. The center part of the New Madrid Fault here. Deborah Lira says this information is so important, never tampered with, except by USGS. USGS is not being honest with us at all. They showed 2 minor earthquakes on 2 separate parts of the New Madrid Fault. One in the center in Tennessee, Ridgely, Tennessee. The other in southwestern Louisiana. They're not showing any of this activity at all. None. None. Let's go over to East Prairie, Missouri. Again, in the center part of the New Madrid Fault. Up at the top here, they just barely have the seismograph turned up. All we are showing here at the top after midnight are tiny tremors, maybe 1.0 tremors. What they may have done is they may have tampered with the seismograph here and turned it way down. Turn it way down. Why do I say that? Why do you think I say that? Let's go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6:15 this morning. Over on the right-hand side, approximately 6:20. Tiny tremor there. Tiny tremor just after 7 a.m. this morning. 7:02 a.m. this morning. 7:15 on the red line on the left-hand side. Then we're seeing tremors and 1 minor earthquake, 1 2.0 earthquake. What are we showing the rest of the time? Tremors, guys. Tremors here. until we get at approximately 11:04 a.m. this morning. 1.9 tremor, possibly a 2.0 earthquake at that time. That's it. 11:30 on the blue line on the left-hand side, that's a 2.0 earthquake there. We've seen more tremors and minor earthquakes here at East Prairie, Missouri before. This is tiny activity compared to what we've seen here. Okay. Let's look at East Prairie this afternoon. Basically the same thing. But in this case, after 12:46 a.m. this morning, maybe 12:47, 1.8 tremor. At 1:17 this afternoon, 1.9 tremor, possibly a 2.0 earthquake. Basically only tremor activities here. East Prairie, Missouri this afternoon. Interesting. Let's look at Guam, Missouri. Guam, Missouri has surprised us in the past. Still surprises us now. Up at the top here, the top black line is 12 midnight. This blue line on the left-hand side is 12:30 this morning, which means we go over here to the center. All of a sudden, 12:37 this morning, tremor activity. Tremor activity building up to 1.8, 1.9 tremors. Then it gets to be 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes, minor earthquakes here. Then it resorts to tremors again. Long duration here. From the beginning of the tremors, from 12:32 this morning until 12:43 this afternoon, or 12:43 this morning, 12:43 this morning. That's a long earthquake sequence. Long earthquake sequence, including tremors here. Then we don't see another earthquake until about 2, 3, 4, 4:19 this morning. 3.0 earthquake, but we don't see the bottom of it, do we? Another 4.2 earthquake off the coast of southern Mexico just a few minutes ago. Probably an aftershock of that 5.5. Look at all this earthquake activity. These are tremors for the most part. Nothing more than tremors for the most part. After 10 a.m. this morning on the black line, this is the first time we get to see some minor earthquakes, 2.0 earthquakes here. Then 1 minute within the earthquake sequence, all of a sudden it drops down to tremors again. After 10:30 this morning on the blue line, we have more tremors. That 4.2 is just downgraded to 4.0. Interesting. This earthquake sequence after 11:15 this morning on the left-hand side gets to be about a 1.9 tremor. That's about all. Not even 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? We've seen large earthquakes here in Guam, Missouri before. A lot more. A lot more. We've seen 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in Guam before. Okay? Guam, Missouri this afternoon. this afternoon. Look what we have here. Right after 12:02 p.m. this afternoon, 2.4 earthquake. We go over here to the right. Over here on the right, we have about 12:13 this afternoon. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Then at 12:14, we have a 2.0 earthquake there. Okay. The next seismic activity we have is after 12:45 on the left-hand side. Tremors on the left-hand side. We come over here to the right. At about 12:58 p.m. this afternoon, this was a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake on the green line on the right-hand side. Then after 1 p.m. this afternoon, we have more tremors here. We go over to the right-hand side. This is approximately 1:11 this afternoon. 2.0 earthquake. 1:15, after 1:15 on the red line, more tremors. 2 p.m. this afternoon, right before 2:01, we have another 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. Come over to the right, over here in the center, more tremor activity, long duration tremor activity. 2:15, the same thing, long duration tremor activity here in Guam, Missouri. Why are they not showing this on the seismic map? Why are they not showing it on the USGS seismic map? They showed other 2.0 earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault, Louisiana and Ridgely, Tennessee. Why aren't they showing this? These are just as strong, but they're also showing tremor activity as well. Interesting. Kewanee, Missouri. Kewanee, Missouri. Kewanee, Missouri. This is what happened today. We come down from 12 midnight on the top line, 1, 2, 3, 4:30 this morning. Just prior to 4:30 this morning, 4:27, 4:28 this morning on the right-hand side on the red line. Tremor activity building up. 4:30 this morning, 2.0 earthquake, 2.4, 2.5 earthquake, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake is what we have here. Then it drops down to smaller, minor earthquakes, and then it becomes tremors again. After 7 a.m., long duration tremor activity here. 10:30 a.m. Actually, 9:30 a.m. 9:15. 9:15 on the red line. More tremors here. Kewanee, Missouri. The same thing in Kewanee this afternoon. This is at 12 p.m. this afternoon. Approximately 12:01, just before 12:02. You see 2.4, 2.5 earthquake here. Then it drops down to large tremor activity, 1.8, 1.9 activity here, and then gets less. Long duration tremor activity turning into minor earthquake, then back down to tremors again. Okay, let's keep going. I want to show you now New Madrid, Missouri. New Madrid, Missouri. This is where the Mississippi River starts to turn east. New Madrid is on the north side of the Mississippi River here. Look at this. Nothing more than tremor activity here. Nothing more than tremor activity. 8:30 this morning on the left-hand side. 8:37 a.m. this morning. 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Yes, they have shown tremors on the USGS map here in New Madrid before. Why are they not showing this tremor activity here in New Madrid, Missouri today? Good question. Good question. They've shown tremors here in New Madrid, Missouri before. Why are they not now? New Madrid, Missouri this afternoon, the same thing. More tremor activity here. Now I want to take you over to Portisville, Missouri. Portisville, Missouri is on the Mississippi River, right next to the fault. Look what we have here. In the past year, we've had more tremor and earthquake activity than ever before here in Portisville, Missouri. Many times we have multiple 3.0 earthquakes here in Portisville on the fault. Literally on the fault. Up at the top here, you see tremor activity. 2:50 p.m., 2:55 a.m. this morning on the right-hand side green line. Say 2:56 this morning. Tremor activity, 1.5, 1.6 tremors. Those continue at 2 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side. Not for very long. It's very quiet, 1.0 tremors. Then we drop down here to later this morning. 6:15 over on the left-hand side. We go over here to the right. 6:24 a.m. this morning. 6:24 a.m. this morning, we have some tremors building into full-blown earthquakes. 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes. Then within 30 seconds, full-blown 3.0 earthquake activity. Look closely. Again, the agencies cut off the bottom and the top of this sequence. This means this earthquake was actually a 3.5 earthquake. 3.5 earthquake. Over on the right-hand side, after the primary waves ended, primary waves ended almost 3 minutes in. Then after that, we had a secondary wave. The secondary wave lasted a minute and a half. That means this earthquake was a 3.5 earthquake sequence. 3.5 earthquake sequence here. The next black line. 6 a.m. this morning on the left-hand side. We have tremors. We go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. Minor earthquake activity building. 2.4, 2.5, 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes hitting here. 3.0 earthquakes hitting here. Then off to the right of that primary wave, we may have had just about 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds of secondary wave. This earthquake at its totality was probably a 3.2 earthquake. Probably a 3.2 earthquake here. Multiple 3 or larger earthquakes here. Portisville, Missouri, on the New Madrid Fault, on the fault line. the center part of the new matter fault here. Kristen Council says, thank God that it was a false alert in Nevada. Yes, it was. I explained that last night. They still have not come up with the reason that their shake alerts went off. But here in Portersville, these are 3 points earthquakes. Why are they not showing this on the USGS map? These are large enough to show because they're only showing 2 minor earthquakes. Again, these are 3 points earthquakes, and they've been in multiple locations on the new matter fault. Insane. This insane activity. This afternoon, Portersville, Missouri had just tremors, nothing to shake a stick at. The next place I want to take you to is the eastern side of Tennessee, the Tennessee seismic zone. Yes, we have the New Madrid seismic zone, and to the east in Tennessee, we have the Tennessee seismic zone. Well, let's go over to Tallapoosa, Missouri, this case. Okay. Minor earthquakes here. Tallapoosa, Missouri. Let's go over to Tennessee now. I want to go over to Morganton, Tennessee. Morganton, Tennessee is where the University of Tennessee is. Before I want to say 10 a.m. this morning. Before 10 a.m. this morning, all we saw might have been 1.0 tremors at all. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Down here this morning, just after 10:01 a.m., 1.1, 1.2 tremors. 10:30 on the left-hand side of the blue line, 1.0, 1.2 tremors again. Then at 11 a.m., we had a 2.0 earthquake and more tremors. We come over the right. Come over the right at approximately 11:08 a.m. this morning. Another 2.0 earthquake. After the 2.0 earthquake, all we had were tiny tremor activity, meaning a secondary wave. That was a 2.0 earthquake there. 11:15 on the red line on the left-hand side. 11:18, 2.5 earthquake. 11:19, a 2.0 earthquake. 11:24, another 2.6 earthquake. 40 seconds later, another 2.0 earthquake again. 11:30 on the blue line beneath that. Tremor activity and 2.8, 2.9 earthquake there. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake on the blue line there. That was 11:37 a.m. this morning. 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes here. Then another one over on the right-hand side. That was at 11:59 a.m. this morning. Minor earthquakes here. Morganton, Tennessee. I have another one to show you. Morganton, Tennessee this afternoon. We went from tremors and minor earthquakes this morning to some more tremors after 12:30 this morning, 12:30 this afternoon, I should say. Then we come down here to just after 1:15 this morning. Not this morning, this afternoon, 1:16 this afternoon. 1.3, 1.4 tremor. Come over here to the right. Now we are at 1:25 p.m. this afternoon. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes here. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes here in Martin, Tennessee this afternoon. Nearly 2 minutes later, we have a 2.8, 2.9. So this morning we had tremors and minor earthquakes. This afternoon we had our first 3.0 earthquake here in Martin, Tennessee. This is the Tennessee seismic zone. This is also the southern side of the East Continental Divide. The southern side of the East Continental Divide here. Why are they not showing these earthquakes on the earthquake map? Why are they not showing them? They've shown some in the past. They're picking and choosing what earthquakes they want to talk about. They're actually picking and choosing what earthquakes they want to talk about. To me, that's insane. We need to tell people what is actually going on in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our towns. That way they can prepare for what's happening. These people in Martin, Tennessee are seeing 3.0 earthquakes on a frequent basis. The East Tennessee seismic zone has been rearing its head. The East Tennessee seismic zone has been moving up. More activity on the Eastern Continental Divide. It's going to continue. It's not going to stop. I don't believe it's going to stop at all. Not at all. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is these guys. These people here. We're going to take down our earthquakes. We're going to talk about politics here. Politics. These 6 people here have opened their mouths. They opened their mouths a week ago, inserting their foot. This is politics at its worst. The Democrat Party here in America has turned into the Democrat Communist Party of America. The Democrat Party has turned into the largest international terrorist organization in the world. The Democrat Party is the largest international terrorist organization, and the results go all the way to Ukraine. The results of their terrorist activity go all the way to Ukraine during the Obama and the Biden administration. And many other places around the world look the same way. What happened in Afghanistan during the Biden administration? Incredible. People lost their lives in Afghanistan because of what Biden did. People lost their lives in Afghanistan and also in Iraq because of what Obama and Hillary Clinton did. Look at the smirk on their faces here. Look at the smirk on these people's faces. Mark Kelly is the center left here. He is a former Navy captain. He has since this week been called back to active duty to court-martial him. He is probably going to lose his captain's rank, and he can also spend some time in federal military prison. The next few minutes, I want to talk about what's going on. I want to talk for a few minutes about the takedown of the Democrat Party. This is what is amazing to me. And more astute reporters have even taken to task the Democrat Party, even here on YouTube. And even some of the mainstream media reporters are talking about it. Some lawyers are also saying it's going to be necessary to remove these politicians from their status here in the Senate. Lawyers are now saying they will probably be removed from their seats in the Senate. The Somali and Afghans here in America are mostly the same demons from hell that we've been watching, but in this case from a slightly different location. These people got busted. Maybe that's why they're scrambling so hard to hide everything to stop it. They're scrambling hard to hide their whatever happened. Hide their speech, in fact. They're trying to hide what they said. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Really? It sure sounded like you did. They're saying, each one of these 6 people are saying that President Trump put out illegal orders. And the seditious 6 senators from the U.S. have been telling military members, CIA and FBI people to take out Trump, to disobey orders from President Trump. The commander-in-chief telling the CIA, FBI, and military officials to not follow the commander-in-chief. What was happening was that they were worried about their illegal orders, their own illegal orders, about these people's illegal orders here. Not any legal order from President Trump. President Trump has never issued an illegal order, not to the military and not the CIA or FBI. These 6 senators are going to claim it's illegal. They're going to claim it's illegal. But when the handcuffs come off or come onto them, handcuffs come off the police officers or FBI's belts, guess what? These 6 people are going to be handcuffed. They're going to wish they had not said a word. What they were hoping for was some type of military coup. They were trying to start a military coup within the United States military. Other Democratic leaders are also hoping for that as well. But those other Democrats, such as Chuck Schumer, Mr. Hakeem Jeffries in the House, were hiding on the sidelines. Hiding on the sidelines, hoping this would take out the president. It hasn't. But what these demons have done, they've been busted in a massive money laundering ring. These demon Democrats have been busted in a huge, massive money laundering ring. But the money's not just going to these 6. The money's not just going to these 6, but most of the other Democrats. Millions and millions of dollars have been hidden under fake names. Sometimes 10 contributions a day from the same people. 10 contributions a day from the same people. When they're being locked up, they're going to say, oh, President Trump is locking us up. I'm so sorry. It's all political retaliation. Yeah. No, it's not. These demon Democrats are crooks, demons, thieves, liars, and cheats. We all know this is evil. Evil. That's what's happening now. It's coming and going down on a couple of different fronts at the same time. And these Democrats know they're in trouble. They're gasping for breath as if this is their last breath. They have to. Or they are trying to think how they can get away with what they're doing. But it appears now that these 6 lawmakers have been found to have been heavily involved in money laundering. Several investigative reporters, from Sean O'Keefe with his YouTube group, O'Keefe Journalism, YouTube journalists, mainstream media journalists have been watching it, and some have been reporting on it. But guess what? They've just released a Federal Election Commission data analysis that strongly suggests that Senator Kelly, Senator Lisa Slotkin, Senator Jason Crow, Senator Chris Duzio, Senator Chrissy Houlihan, and Senator Maggie Goodlander have been recipients of illegally laundered campaign funds. Illegally laundered campaign funds totaling millions of dollars. And that's just in the initial investigation. The reporters have been investigating this, have now cited 22 different examples, and more are coming. These 6 senators and others are doing it illegally under other people's names, like 70 and 80-year-old people. Some of these people are no longer even living, yet their names are being used and money's been stolen from their estates. Those people don't even know what's happening. The investigation says that they are in the middle of their investigation. They cited examples, allegedly contributed to almost $3 million and more than 95,000 separate donations to Democrat coffers. 95,000 separate donations to Democrat coffers. Almost $3 million. That's the reason that this whole thing is kept below a certain level. All 6 members of this seditious 6 senators have received funds from one or more of these funding organizations. Now, I want to make it clear, it's not just these 6 senators. But since they wanted to run their mouths, they're being highlighted, not just by me. They're being highlighted by the mainstream media throughout this country. Most of the people here in this country now know about it. It needs to be said that the current thinking is that the massive money laundering scheme involving Act Blue, the Democrat fundraising organization that has filtered illegal funds many times over during the last 10 to 15 years. Act Blue. Act Blue has been behind the Democrats literally forever, along with the Soros family and others. And now the identities of the 6 Smurfs that you see here have been hijacked. The actual retired persons pointed out earlier that they're not aware of the illegal use of their identities. Really? They're not aware of it. That's because the Democrats have hidden the information. They did not want anyone to become aware that they have illegally used people's identities to money launder, to funnel money into their own campaign coffers. Yeah. Interviews by James O'Keefe from Veritas fame, Charlie Leadoff, Bob Cushman, has shown the lack of awareness of these victims of identity theft. That's how crooked these demon Democrats are. Evil personified. Act Blue. Again, that Democrat fundraising organization has allegedly received over $16 billion. $16 billion with a B since 2004. That's taxpayer money. That is taxpayer money in many cases, illicit and donations from elderly people who were unaware they contributed money. As well as I wonder how much money Soros and his son have been involved with. It's been revealed that these several senior members of Act Blue have quietly resigned. Several senior members of Act Blue have resigned since allegations of this fraud have come forward. Several federal investigations were started in 2025, and even more before the end of this year. They have said the activity is fraud. The activity is money laundering. Their activity is funneling money from outside the United States. It should be also noted that Republicans are now outraising the Democrats for the first time in more than a decade. Yeah. That's because now the Democrats have to stop and think. Oh, we can't get away with this anymore. We're being taken out. We're being exposed. Even with the Democrats doing all that, they're still getting busted. Not only have people been resigning from Act Blue, more and more employees from Act Blue are quitting. They know that more than likely a warrant has been or will be issued to them very soon. Whether or not anyone gets locked up is anybody's idea. Well, we shall see. But they've got to stop these low-life Democrat communists. Right now, it's kind of like a dog-eat-dog world, a dog-eat-dog mentality. The 6 of them, plus other Democrats in this money laundering scheme, now they want to cry foul and blame anyone that they can blame on President Trump. They're trying to cry foul and trying to hang blame on anyone, including President Trump. These people are pretty sorry people. Even that captain in the United States Navy. All of them should be above reproach, but they're not. Mark Kelly has already had several pages of wrongdoing that have been printed up. These are real people in real cities that have been taken advantage of. Their identities have been stolen and money's been stolen from their accounts. In California, more than 344,000 total donations from California alone. Yes, there are a lot of seniors living in California. Who else in California is taking advantage of these seniors? Yeah, Mr. Newscomb himself. These seditious 6 usage of money laundering. Mark Kelly, Lisa Slatkin, Jason Crow, Chris Duzio, Chrissy Houlihan, and Maggie Goulander. Just a small sample, many of the thousands of dollars have been had and used by these 6 people. This is insanity, guys. This is absolute insanity. These people money laundered thousands of dollars from their constituents and other people throughout this country. This just goes on. The different people in the Democrat Party that have been taking illegal funding from people. Now, if this can't be used to take them down, I don't know what will. But we know that Texas itself, Texas, the largest state in the union, has now been allowed by the Supreme Court to keep their newly redrawn redistricting maps. that everybody else in the Democrat Party was calling gerrymandering. It's being allowed to happen by the Supreme Court. That will just about allow any other state to do the same thing. And we know darn well that the Democrats are doing the same thing in Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and California, and New Mexico. We know it. In my opinion alone, the illegal actions of the Democrats have to be stopped. What is it going to take? I don't know. I'd like to hear from you. Those of you who are here in chat, what do you think? What is it going to take for this to totally be exposed, the people to be exposed, to be punished for what they've done? What's it going to take? Please let me know in chat or the comments below this program today. Act Blue and other people just like that have been involved in moving illegal donations in the past. These moralist politicians being so crooked and now getting busted. Not just these Democrats here. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and that idiot from New York. Democrat Ilhan Omar. Yes, the senator from Minnesota has now been linked to a massive $1 billion with a B Somali fraud scheme. Ilhan Omar has been linked to a $1 billion Somali fraud scheme. There's more to come. There is a restaurant there in Minneapolis being used for meetings. The parties, they call them. Money changing hands. The restaurant operator himself has been heavily involved in it, taking a lot of money himself. It says a massive $1 billion Somali fraud scheme. $1 billion Somali fraud scheme. We've been hearing about it. Why do you think ICE has been in Minneapolis? Why do you think that ICE has been up to Dearborn, Michigan? Yeah. Many of the leaders of the Somali people, the Muslim people in Dearborn, Michigan, have been arrested. Yeah. The leaders of the Islamic Foundation in Dearborn have been arrested. The same thing is happening in Minneapolis. Now the entire Department of Justice is looking at all this. And all of the other reporters now calling out the fraud. They're all talking about how Ilhan Omar has been a glaring tie to the $1 billion Somali food fraud scheme in Minnesota. $1 billion Somali fraud scheme involving food. 70 members of the Somali community in Minnesota were involved in stealing $250 million in COVID funds that were intended to feed children. They stole $250 million in COVID funds that were supposed to be to feed children in Minnesota. The documents say that millions of dollars were stolen from the American taxpayers and sent overseas to Somalia, and 80% of the money has not been recovered. We will never get it back. We will never see it back. Do you think Somalia is going to return it? Hell no. All these Democrats, AOC involved as well. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries. Yes, they're sitting over on the sidelines. Guess what? They have done the same darn thing. They have done the same darn thing, guys. Mark my words. All this is coming out. 7 defendants that were tried in connection with the scheme on charges related to stealing more than $40 billion in taxpayer funding. Yeah. Stealing more than $40 million in taxpayer funds. And only five of those were found guilty. 5. 7 were charged, only 5 found guilty. The FBI is still investigating the attempt by a Somali woman to bribe one of the jurors with $120,000 in cash. Yeah. A Somali woman bribed one of the jurors with $120,000 cash. More of our taxpayer money. This fraud extends deeper with multiple schemes occurring over the last 5 years. All their screaming, all their crying, all their moaning and whining is coming from the taxpayer senators. Only because they know they are now in deep yogurt. They're in deep trouble. Again, my hope is, if it's the last thing that I see, is the Democrats are once and for all taken down like what happened in 1968 with Watergate. And then the nation becomes whole again. That's what I'm hoping for. It's not going to happen as long as half the people here are demonic. It's not going to happen as long as half the people here are demonic. Yes, they are demonic. I believe we are in a spiritual battle here. I believe we are in a spiritual battle. We've been told about it. The scriptures are replete with episodes of this happening. This is scriptural. From now on, from today forward, each one of us, we must start doing what our Lord and Savior has asked us to do. We've been asked to prepare. We've been asked to prepare. What have I asked for preparedness? What has the Lord asked us to do as well? Prepare. Prepare our lives and the lives of our family for the second coming of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We are to prepare for the end times. We need to start doing what the Lord has asked to do and do it now. The time is now. We don't have any more time. We don't have any more time, ladies and gentlemen. The time has come to start doing what we should have done a long time ago. The time has come that we need to start repenting and starting to live good and wonderful lives. We can't do it by ourselves, but we can do it with the Lord's help. I'm here to tell you, you can do it with the Lord's help. I promise you that. We need to start praying. We need to start praying and obeying the commandments. That's where it starts. We need to do it. We need to teach our children to do it the same way. We need to teach our children and our grandchildren to do it the same way. We need to get back to basics. We need to get back to basics here, guys. I'm telling you right now, if we don't do it, we are going to be held accountable. I promise you that. When we have leaders such as I'm showing you here, and many others, remember there's 437 senators in the Senate. And even them, and I'm also including Republicans in that as well, they've also been implicated in wrongdoing. We need to recall them. We need, and this next year, we need to do it. This next year is the byword. Okay? the byword. The byword comes between federal elections. That means senators and congressmen can be elected. We need to start putting people in that we can trust. We need to start electing people that we know will lead us in righteous directions. That's where we need to go. This is exactly where we need to go, brothers and sisters. We need to start paying attention to what's important. Pay attention to what's important. I ask God to bless you. I ask God to be with you this day and always. Brothers and sisters, I will be here tomorrow if something happens. Anything happens tonight or tomorrow, we'll be back on there to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, on Sunday, about 12:30 noon, we will be coming back on air with an episode of our Come Follow Me, the Savior Said Sunday School class. 12:30 noon tomorrow afternoon, or Sunday afternoon. Be here for that. We'd love to see you then. Be it known, I love you to death. I love each and every one of you. You guys are my family. You are literally my family, all of you. I want to thank you all for being here. Also, friends and family here, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe and also click on that little bell icon. That will get you notified when we come on the air. Usually during the week, twice this week, we come on the air after 5 o'clock. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I had everything together before I came on the air. But guys, I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. As our song states, our beginning song states, we've been here for everybody. I've done disaster drills in 39 states. I've done preparedness fairs in other states. I've done preparedness talks all over this country. Wherever I've lived, I've done preparedness talks. I'm here for all of you. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright.